made perfect sense. Climbing telephone poles all week and jumping out of airplanes on the weekend. It seemed to be working out pretty well. And I had gotten it modernized to the point where a particularly Spartan sport like skydiving in front of a bunch of people required approval by the FAA. And so I had gotten hooked up with an advertising agency in the day when that was the domain of very serious entertainers. And so I was quite amused with myself that I was able to hitch my skydiving expertise and exhibitionism to a wagon of big business. So I worked it out with the FAA that getting the jumps approved, which was quite a to-do, could be accomplished by the lady who ran the advertising agency. The idea was that I could just have the fun without doing all the work. This went along pretty well for quite a while, and I got the price of my skydives years ago, and it was a lot of money, to $500 a jump. So then my advertising agent decided to get a little more ambitious, since her forte was finding entertainment acts for shopping centers. So she suggested that I would get shot out of a cannon over a shopping center parking lot. And I decided that was a pretty good idea. After her assurances that not only would I get $500, that if I lived through it, I'd get $1,000. Well, this was big money, and I was big fun, so that was going to be the next thing I was going to do. So all I knew about it was that as a kid, I had seen the Zucchini family get shot out of a cannon at the Shrine Circus. And so in those days, they didn't have the internet, so I went in a phone book or called information, long distance information, and deduced that the circus lives in a town called Winter Haven, Florida. And in Winter Haven, Florida directory, I found Hugo Zucchini. And it wasn't zucchini, it was Hugo Zucchini. So I called Hugo Zucchini and I said, Hugo, it's Bill Straight. And he said, how are you, Bill? And I said, looking for a shot out of that cannon. And he said, that is incredibly easy for you to do because it lives right behind my house trailer in the wintertime, where we spend our winters here in Winter Haven. And if you'd like to come and get that cannon, I can show you how to do it, and you can tow it wherever you want to as long as you have it back in time for the circus. Made perfect sense. So I never got hooked up with Zucchini because my advertising agent decided that if I was that amenable to get shot out of a cannon, that there had to be a way for me to do it at night with fireworks attached. So it got a little complicated and she got overly ambitious. So I decided to strike out on my own in the adventure biz, and I had noticed that the people that flew the airplanes that skydivers used were good old boys who were out there having some fun. And it dawned on me that why should they be having all the fun if there's a way to fly planes with skydivers in them? I'm already drunk and out of them. It might not be much of a leap to do that. And so I started my flying career flying jumpers with the advice of jump pilots on how to do that and have the VA pay for it. So while I was doing that, someone came up with the idea that at SeaWorld in Orlando, there was an opportunity on July 4th, 1977 weekend to skydive into the water park portion of SeaWorld in Orlando. So I went there, and it was about the 1st of June in 1977, and I proposed to them with my parachute on my back, which was my methodology for selling particularly organized people a completely crazy thing to buy. I sold them my talents as a skydiver. They agreed to pay me $1,500 and gave me $500, which was a good thing because I was on borrowed money and in a borrowed car to get there to make the sales pitch. So I walked out of that place flush with $500. Well, in subsequent meetings, the truth came about, and what the truth was that $500, that $1,500 total, was also going to be for me to provide an airplane for me to not only jump out of and land in the water 6 times over 3 days, but it was also going to require me to wing walk. Made perfect sense. Fast forward a month later, and I made 6 jumps into the water along with wing walking over SeaWorld in Orlando. Made perfect sense. I retired from my wing walking days after that, deciding that the hangover wasn't worth it and that maybe flying did deserve a little more time than exhibition parachute jumping and wing walking and getting shot out of cannons. Makes perfect sense.